This is my tier list for Legends and Apex Ranked. This does not take into consideration competitive or pubs or anything outside of Ranked. You might notice a little more emphasis on solo queue Legends rather than the Team Legends or Controller Legends, but the meta doesn't really favor them anyway in my opinion. I really try to come off as genuine and authentic and serious with this tier list, so if you disagree with any of the mentions, let me know why in the comments. Okay, well starting with Ashe, I think she's a bad character. I think she's really bad. And this is kind of why. Her ultimate is sometimes really finicky, and sometimes it just doesn't go the full length, and it'll take you to like a ledge, like 10 meters in front of you. And that's horrible in a fight. That's terrible. Her snares are bad, and I'm not sure why she's classified as an assault character when she could easily be a recon character since she can scan death boxes. So I think she's just bad. Seer got nerfed, kind of, but not really. He's still broken. He's still up there. Yeah. I don't want to talk about him too much. Bangalore is an interesting character. Bangalore could... If you are an MK player, she's S tier. For sure, in ranked especially, because keep in mind that most of the player base is on controller. If you think about Xbox and PlayStation, right? Her smokes remove aim assist. That's huge. That's absolutely huge if you're MK. So for me, that's S tier for sure. For everyone else, it might be A tier, but I'm putting her in S. Bloodhound got nerfed, kind of. He got a rework, really, and he's not S tier, he's probably A tier. But he can get his cooldown for his ultimate really low, maybe like every 30 seconds or something. The Raven is sometimes really goofy, but it's a really cool mechanic to see on screen. And A tier for sure. Caustic, I'm putting Caustic in C tier because of Caustic, because they both have C's in the name, so that's where he goes. Watson, interesting character. Same thing with Caustic, putting it in C tier. You really don't want to run too many controller characters. Any characters that like have traps like in ranked, not a good idea. It's more so acceptable in Broken Moon, but no. In general, you want to run like the aggro, the characters that have movement, basically. Crypto, he can go anywhere. I'll be honest, he can go in any one of these, depending on how skilled you are. I'm gonna put him in B tier. I'm gonna take the average. He could play the role of the entry fragger and EMP everyone. You can counter these two characters, but it's hard for me to see too many good cryptos. I don't see a whole lot of good cryptos out there, and you have to have a good team compositions with them. You have to have a movement character like a jump pad or Octane, or what's it called? Pathfinder grapple, zipline thingy. You have to have rotations with them, or a Valkyrie, and it requires too much synergy, basically. So if you have that synergy, he's great, but otherwise he's pretty bad, or C tier. So I'm putting him in B. Fuse is probably the most underrated character in this game, especially in pubs, especially in ranked, and especially in competitive. With that said, I'm not putting him in S tier. I'm going to put him in A tier because you sacrifice a lot by having a Fuse on your team. You lose rotational power, you lose a lot of movement, you suddenly have to play with a Valkyrie and a Pathfinder, and it's kind of like you have to play a certain comp with him. Gibby is probably on the same level as Newcastle. I'm not gonna lie, like they're both the same. It's hard for me to pick one. If I did, I'd probably choose Newcastle, but I'm a terrible Newcastle. I'm gonna put him in A tier. Shotguns did get buffed this patch, which is great for him because you need to run a shotgun, especially on Newcastle. I'm gonna put Newcastle up here too. With these two characters, you're required to run a shotgun. If you're not running a shotgun, you are essentially just throwing the game, because suddenly if a team pushes up to you and they have a shotgun, they're going to win the fight, especially if you bubble, especially if you put a Newcastle wall down. You are not going to win that fight because you don't have a shotgun. People are like, if you're playing Maggie, do you have to play with a shotgun? And my answer to that is no, especially if you're playing on controller. If you're playing on controller, do not run a shotgun with Maggie. You're going to be a lot less consistent. Instead, just run an SMG. Run a Volt, run an R99, a car. The movement, what's it called? Buff? Movement buff does not matter for her. I'll put her in A. She's just as good. She counters these two characters a lot. And the shotguns, obviously, if you're on MK, you could probably run shotgun with her quite easily. She has great rotational power as well. She's fantastic, okay? Horizon. I never really liked playing Horizon, but she was definitely OP last season. This season, she is probably C tier. I'm putting her in C tier. Suddenly, when I go up on the gravity lift, it's much more dangerous for me. I have to be very careful, and I have to take it carefully now. Whereas beforehand, last season, You could be in the worst position ever, Horizon Q up, and beam someone, and suddenly you have the advantage. You could turn the worst positioning ever into a winning position, basically. And now you can't really do that because you can't shoot up anymore. So she goes in C tier. And her ultimate has gotten nerfed. Like, even Newcastle's Q can block Horizon's ultimate. Suddenly, there's no reason to run Horizon, I don't think. Lifeline could go in, like, C or B tier. She got buffed, but I'll go B tier. But I don't like playing Lifeline that much. I don't think she's the best ranked legend. And with this said, we have Loba. I'm gonna put Loba in S tier. S tier because she's great, fantastic. She can provide great team utility, like throughout the whole game. That's a huge part. Like throughout the whole game, she's useful. She has a movement ability, and she is a support class. I think every team in rank should have a support class, now that I think about it. Because of the banners. I kind of forgot about that. Suddenly you can craft banners. That's a huge deal. You can just, if your team dies, let's say they take a 2v3 and they lose, and you were batting the whole time, they get the shield swaps. Suddenly you can just queue out and then get the banners, like, just through the crafting, like, at another POI. That's absolutely huge. So she's an S tier. I think a lot of competitive is actually going to run her as well, but we're not talking about competitive today. Mirage is bad. He's bad. He's still bad. He's always been bad. He will never change, probably. Octane is like, I love Octane, but he's not that great for ranked, because you're kind of predictable. A lot of your movements can be very predictable, and you damage yourself for that movement. So I'll put him in B tier. Anytime you go on an Octane jump pad, you're very liable to get shot at. If you take a jump pad and I have a Kraber, there's like a 50-50 chance I'll hit you, whereas on the ground it somehow decreases. Like I struggle to hit people on the ground, but on jump pads you're very predictable. So I'm gonna put him in B tier. Pathfinder got a kind of a good buff. He's always been A tier, S tier, so I'm gonna put him. I'll put him S tier. He's very good. You know why? Rampart probably belongs either in bad or C tier. I don't think her ultimate's that great. It can break doors, but I don't know. I'm gonna put her in bad. I might change this afterward. I'm not sure. Revenant is also kind of just bad. I'm gonna put him here because his ultimate can easily be taken advantage by third parties, or even like the team that you're trying to fight. Like they might just be able to rotate around and take it, and they can just throw a thermite in it. It's a mess. He's one of those characters that really needs a rework, but I don't know a single thing. Like I don't know how to rework him. I don't have any clues. If you have any suggestions for a rework, please tell me, because I think I might make a video on him, like a video analysis of Revenant, because he is so bizarre. In theory, he counters everyone, but he does a bad job at it, so it's hard to say. Okay, Valkyrie. Valkyrie is still S tier. She's S tier. She is one of the best ranked legends. You can get out of any situation you want, and that's great, and she's fantastic. Vantage. I kind of want to put her, in S tier, but she belongs in A tier or B tier. I'm going to put her in A tier. A lot of team utility with that sniper and the knowledge she has. Her bat's not even that bad. Her bird bat thing is pretty good, so she goes up there. Wraith always has been very good for solo queue, and she only got better, so I'm going to put her in A tier. And we have Catalyst right now. What do we do with her? She is way better than Caustic and Watson in ranked, especially on Broken Moon. She is way better. Put her in A tier. Okay, looking at this, I think, man, I don't know. Crypto could literally go anywhere. Same with Lifeline. Lifeline might just be a C tier character. No, he kind of counters Seer, so I'll put it not up there. I'll leave her in B tier. I should probably put Horizon in B tier, but yeah, I'll put her in B tier just because of her passive. It's pretty good. I might just make like another tier. How do I make another tier just for, what's it called? Add row below. Add row below, dude. I'm making a new tier for Mirage. And it's yellow like Mirage a little bit. Mirage, Omega low. Boom. There we go. Because he's just the worst. He is by far the worst character. And don't get me wrong, I main him. I literally main him, and I never play him in high ranks. I never play him in diamond or above, because you're just throwing. And I don't know what else to change. Like, maybe Catalyst should be in B tier, but her wall is, if you're good at the game, you can separate the 2v1, the 3v3s, and the 3v2s or something like that. Oh, and it's very good for reses as well. Newcastle might be better than Gibby. I have no clue. Because of the res, that's what I'm thinking about. Now that I think about that, he might be better. Keep in mind, I didn't really organize it so like this side is better than this side. I could, right? Well, I could do that real quick, actually. I'll do that right now. Okay, yeah, I think this is my real quick rundown of Season 16. Tell me what you think of. Keep in mind, this is for ranked. My Season 16 ranked legend analysis, tier list maker, epicness, right? Tell me if you agree. I don't even know if I agree. We'll see. And I'm excited for the meta.